Alright, what is up YouTube? HPJ here, and I am coming to you guys because we're going to be taking a look at Harpies. Now, this, I will say it now, we had some major bombs dropped between um, me building this up and the build now, because we had a lot of new cards come into the game uh, within the last week and a half. We've had the Tribrigade that just came, that's coming in Phantom Force. We have AA-Zeus that's coming out in the OCG that has tremendous potential with a lot of decks, especially those that use Exceeds. Or even if you don't use Exceeds, make one really stupid Exceed monster and then build him and then just benefit from it. So, I'm going to show you guys what I'm currently building, and just to let you guys know now, I'm still kind of working on some builds, so expect some builds in uh, August. I'm not. Yeah, August. I was just saying October. No, August. Expect a lot of builds in August. So, without further ado, while we get a look at Harpies, I got 3 copies of the lovely Harpie Channeler, 3 copies of Perfumer, 3 copies of Harpies, 3 copies of Harpie Lady 1, 2 copies of Harpie Oracle, 1 copy of Queen, 1 copy of Dancer, 1 copy of Miss Valley Apex Avian, and 1 copy of Miss Valley Thunderbird. Let's look at our spells, and I'm running 3 copies of Hysteric Sign, 3 copies of Elegant Egotist, 1 copy each, no, I'm sorry, 2 copies of Harpie's Hunting Ground, 1 Alluring Mirror Split, 1 Harpie's Feather S, and 3 copies of 3 tactical talents. Then, of course, for the traps, we got the copies of Harpie's Featherstorm, 3 copies of Brigade Revolt, and 3 copies of Trap Trick. For the extra deck, 2 copies of Harpie Lady Scratch Clash, or her TCG name, Cyber Slash Harpie Lady, which also her is getting changed to Slash Claw Harpie Lady. So, TCG, make up your mind. 2 copies of Harpie Conductor, 1 copy of Tribrigade Fedelit, Fidel Getty, the Fruitless Flower, 1 copy of Union Carrier, 1 copy of Tribrigade Lugal, Lugal, the Silver Bullet, 1 copy of Samorg, the Bird of Sovereignty, 1 copy of Tribrigade Shriek, the Wicked Wings, 1 copy of Barrel Sword Dragon, 1 copy of Harpie's Pet Phantasmal Dragon, 1 copy of ISP Zero Fine, 1 copy of Castell, 1 copy of Chidori, and 1 copy of AA-Zeus. So, a lot of new stuff here, a lot of combination of stuff here. Let's just get it out the way now. Let's talk about AA-Zeus. Now, we don't run any 12s, but Zeus's effect is why it's here. So whenever Zeus is attacked, whenever a Exceed monster you control is attacked, you can Exceed summon this card on top of that monster, and all that monster's Exceed material will become this card. Then, quick effect, during your opponent's turn, you can attach 2 materials from this card, and then, no, quick effect during either turn, you can detach 2 materials from this card, and then send every other card to the graveyard that's on the field. And this works in combination with one of our biggest combo cards, and that's Hysteric Sign. So when it's sent from the field to the graveyard, that end phase, you're adding 3 cards with Harpie in its name from your deck to your hand. So this helps you get your Storm, your Channeler, your Harpies, a lot of your other combo pieces for the next following turn, or maybe some rebuttal pieces for your opponent's turn. Whichever one it is, AA-Zeus is going to be helping you with that. And look at the stats on this thing. 3k attack and defense on a level 12. It may not seem like much for rank 12, but because of how this card's effects read, it makes up for it all the same. Now, my Exceed lineup is probably a little short. Well, because Harpies do have a really good Link game. And because of how the situation is now with all the nice Link cards and everything, I mean, there's really not much room to extra deck, so you're cutting cards here and there, but you're also making sure that you still stick to whatever combinations or combos that you're playing within your deck, and then extending those combos there. Now, as far as the rest of the deck itself goes, you do have your main components. You have the triple channeler, who summons your Harpie monsters from your graveyard to the field. From your deck to the field. Then you have Harpie Perfumer. Whenever she's no more special, you can add one spell or trap to specifically list Harpie Lady Sisters in its text from your deck to your hand. I was very much debating if I wanted to keep Harpie Lady Sisters in this build. At the current point of time, not really, because your extenders are going to also be in your extract. I mean, you can just take out an Oracle if you want to fit in the additional sisters, because a lot of people still do play Harpie Lady Sisters, and that's simply because of Perfumer. But we also have access to Harpie Lady Scratch Clash. And, the thing about that is also, this is another monster that you do have to take 2 monsters to make more. But look at the resources that the Harpie archetype has. You can pop your own spells and trap cards during your opponent's turn. Special summon the Perfumer. Here's your level 8. Here's your Perfumer. Your, Cyber Slash is going to bounce a monster back. In addition to Perfumer triggering her effect. Or you even have Oracle set up there. So it's a lot of things that does still benefit, even if you choose not to run Harpie Lady Sisters. I still am running Harpies because she'll search for Perfumer, Oracle, Dancer, Channeler, Harpie Lady 1. She has her still her big pool of options. And of course, her normal summon, she can send cards on the field. A winged beast you control, a monster your opponent controls, back to the hand. So there's that bounce there, and that works well with Harpie Conductor. Harpie Lady 1 is still in the game because this is the additional 300 attack. And even though this may not seem like one of those situations where, well, you don't need 300 attack, just run Cyber Heart. Here's the thing. There's still a lot of things that the main deck still kind of struggles with. We don't have a boss monster in the main. Most of our big boss monsters are in extra deck. A lot of them don't have negate, and some of them do need a lot more attack strength to run over things. In addition to that, is Elegant Egotist, which does not have a restriction to itself except for a Harpie Lady just has to be on the field in order to summon more Harpie Ladies or Harpie Lady Sisters from your hand or deck. That's why the triple Harpie Lady one is still sufficient, in addition to having cards that recover or cards that special summon more Harpies, so where you can get a lot of these evasive maneuvers still worked out and still be okay with running the multiple Harpies, because you still have so many other cards to still have to bring multiple copies out to the board and still suffice that additional attack strength to help you run over monsters. And if you're not running them over, you're at least running out things that you don't want to deal with, or just basic beatdown for game. Now, then we have Harpie Oracle. Harpie Oracle, of course, when she sets summon herself, when you have a level 5 or higher Harpie monster on the board. Then during the end phase of the turn, she's no more special, so you can add a spell or trap that has Harpie Lady Sisters in its text from your graveyard to your hand. She is one of your recovery pieces. It may be the slowest recovery piece, but there is a big benefit to that, and that's this monster is an additional special summon, which is an extension to help you go into bigger plays that the board can still survive. And that's kind of also the thing. Harpies do have a good range of those extenders. And with the tribrigade support, you can actually see a lot more of these extenders coming. Now, Harpie Queen and Harpie Dancer are still at one of us because as much as we love Queen and Dancer, I'm sorry to say this, but they're kind of falling out of the field because, unfortunately, what Queen does, Oracle and Perfumer do it a lot quicker. Going straight into it, there's really no discard, just a normal summon. She is here because she's additional Harpie. She is a additional summon off of a lot of Harpie support cards. She can help you get into a lot of your Harpie cards, or help you get into a lot of your other extra deck monsters. But the multiple needs is only if you're not running engines that do include, the Apex situation. Maybe you're not wanting to run a whole lot of, you want to run a whole lot of monsters to survive your other ideas. Builds are very different. So, but for this build, I am just focusing on the one Queen. Dancer, on the other hand, everyone's wanting to run because Dancer isn't as useful as she used to be. There isn't a lot of back row. Even though you have the option to pop your own, it's still very meh with Dancer. She does have some utility, but it's a lot behind her once per turn. And actually, that is a good thing because there is still a lot of things that makes her broken outside of what she already, in combination of what she does. So, Then the only other cards left to talk about are, of course, the Mist Valley Apex Avian and Mist Valley Thunderbird, and that's for the combination between summoning Avian off of Samorg, having Thunderbird attached to the field or on the field with additional help thanks to Union Carrier, and then you have your option of the Avian Thunderbird loop. Now, let's go on to the spells. Sign your big search for your Harpie cards. A lot of ways to send this card from the field to the graveyard. You're going to have some additional help thanks to AA-Zeus. You have some good utility with this. And this helps you get hit Elegant Egotist, which is another key component to Harpies. And because of the fact that if you play this, you can activate this to get another one of those, you're going to be perfectly fine. Speaking of Elegant Egotist, Ego is here to help you get Harpie Lady 1 to the field. You do have the option to run Harpie Lady Sisters. Sadly enough, these are only your targets because, they're locked behind this card's always treated as Harpie Lady. If you don't want to run Harpie Lady 1, there's still the option of Cyber Harpie and Harpie Lady to fit into those keys. Then Elegant Egotist is your massive summon, in addition to cards like Harpie Channeler, the Oracle's special summoning effect, Alluring Mirror Split, another combination of cards like that. One Harpie's Feather Rest for the recovery of your Harpie cards and to draw that additional card, or two if you control that level 5 or higher. Although you're locked behind Wind for the rest of the turn in terms of special summons, that's kind of going to be okay because you have a lot of keys set up here. And then your opponent's turn is still on your options, so AA-Zeus is going to be very useful then. You have a Alluring Mirror Split to help you bring out more Harpies to the field. Most likely you're popping this to help you summon more Harpies from the graveyard, in addition to either the effects of Harpie Conductor or the effects of Harpie's Hunting Ground. Now, there's only 2 Hunting Grounds in this build because, well, Hunting Ground kind of also fell out the loop around with Dancer. Is that most decks aren't earning massive amounts of back row. You're going to be focusing on your own, and at a point, you're going to be destroying Hunting Ground. You can retrieve Hunting Ground with Oracle's Effect, which is not a downside. It's actually a good thing because there are a lot of benefits to getting Hunting Ground. That means if your opponent has to worry about what spells they're going to be playing, you can still opt into putting this onto the field. You have ways to search for this between Oracle and Perfumer, Harpie Queen, and Hysteric Time. So it's all good with all that. Outside of those, the only other card I'm running is the 3 Tactical Talents, and this is just more so of going second with Harpies because of the fact that this can get you draw 2, you can take control of your opponent's monster, or you can mess up some of their plans with by looking at their hand and then sending cards from their hand back into the deck. Each of them are crucial, and not to mention each of these are based off of other card effects that were previously in the game. Pot of Greed, Change of Heart, and Confiscation. So you have a lot of edge to it. But like I said, this is more of a go second type of setup. If this is something that you're not too keen to, you can just take these 3 out, put in your hand traps, put in Call by the Grave, and then go from there. Now, speaking of hand traps, we do have Harpie's Feather Storm rounding out our trap lineup. This is one of Harpie's best traps next to Party, which you do see I'm not running Party because I did have a lot of stuff to fit in. And with Feather Storm, in combinations to Trap Trick, which is another card we're going to be talking about very shortly, you want to get this card to your hand or to the field as fast as possible, spring this on your opponent, and take advantage of negating a lot of their monsters' effects. Because a lot of decks in the game still benefit from having massive effects used by their monsters. And hindering that, either on your turn or your opponent's turn, is a great offensive and defensive play. Now, next up is Brigade Revolt. Now, this is a card that when I seen it, this card has to go in the Harpies somewhere, somehow. At least one build I'm playing has to play this. What this card does is that it special summons any number of your Beast Warrior, and or Winged Beast monsters that are banished or in your graveyard. Yes, their effects are negated if they have it, but you can immediately link summon into a Tri-Brigade Link monster, and one of the best Link monsters that they have options of is this big boy right here. And this is one of the monsters that, I kid you not, a lot of Harpie players have been praising this monster because of how versatile this monster can be. and how useful this monster is, especially when you spring this on your opponent's turn. Now, I'll get to Wicked Wings shortly when I go into the extra deck, but this is an amazing card. If you don't want to spread out to Wicked Wings, let's say you want to spread it out some more. You have Lugal, the Silver Bullet, and you also have the Fruitless Flower for some additional setups, and then they have their own abilities that trigger. So you have a lot of good combinations with the Tri-Brigade support cards. And I'll just say it now, I am going to be working on a tri-brigade version of Harpies. It's just a lot of things came out at once, so I have a lot of things I still need to test out. Now, the last card in the deck is, of course, Trap Trick. And this is to help flesh out for Feather Storm and for Brigade Revolt, because these are both normal traps, and this helps get to those normal traps. You are banishing a copy of them, which unfortunately is its only big downside. The bright side to this is that it quickly gets you to your trap cards. You can activate them the turn you set them. And although you're locked behind one trap card for the turn, that's perfectly fine because you're going to be perfectly okay with either outcome of one of these. Negating your opponent's monster effects, summoning into a big monster thanks to your other monsters. Now, going into the extra deck, it is pretty much a big setup of here and there. You do have your double Cyber Slash Harpie ladies to be your big level A, a big beat stick, and then the ability to send cards on the field, either your Harpie cards or your opponent's cards, back to the hand. So you have some disruption here. Yes, she doesn't negate. Okay, but we got a quick effect on top of a removal. It's not destruction. It's not removal with negation, but it is removal. And funny thing is, if you can make your opponent waste a lot of their resources, there's not many recovery cards for a lot of decks to go into multiple stuff. So you still have advantage, and she's Harpie. She's a Harpie, and she's a Harpie lady, so it does have a lot of combinations of cards here, and then you can drop the Feather Storm in addition to her also being in play. You still have your option of your, Avian, Thunderbird, Union Carrier loop, which is why both of these monsters are still here. There's still a lot of things some more can bring out. Like Avian, you have Union Carrier to help you get the Thunderbird. You can even go get Harpies and send her to the graveyard with Union Carrier and still have a lot of beneficial effects. You have Harpie Conductor for her offensive, defensive setup of protecting your Harpie cards from being short of battle card effect in conjunction with Harpie, with Cyber Slash Harpie Lady. Bounce, trigger, remove. There you go. We got we have all three of the Tri-Brigade extra deck monsters. Draw and then send back to the deck with the Fruitless Flower. A nice special summon off of the Fruitless Flower. There you go. You got Tri-Brigade, Legal, the Silver Bullet. Get a monster on the end phase. You most likely want to get a monster in your opponent's end phase, someone like Oracle and them, and then have them ready for your next turn. Primarily channelers, so that she can be ready for her ability, so you can flesh out the board. And then the big guy right here, Streak the Wicked Wings. So whenever a Winged Beast monster, or this card is a Beast or a Winged Beast monster is just something to the field, or this card is just something to the field, you can banish a card on the field. Then, when it's sent to the graveyard, you can add a Beast Warrior, and or Winged Beast monster from your deck to your hand equal to the level, whose level is equal to or less than the number of monsters that are banished. That are Beast Warrior, and or Winged Beast. You're mainly using this card because it banishes. Not destroys, banishes. And most decks can't recover from this. Not to mention, high level Winged Beast monster. Highest of the extra deck Winged Beast monsters right now. Because I think the only other ones are Black Wings, and those are locked behind Black Wings. This only restriction is the needs of Beast Warrior, or Winged Beast. And thankfully, there's stuff like Brigade Revolt. You can easily get into this monster. You do have an additional option with Barrel Sword Dragon if you want to just start swinging at things for your OTK. And then, the rest of this is pretty self-explanatory. Chidorian Castell for removal. You got Ice Beast Zero flying for her massive negate and then making her a beast stick. One of the ever faithful servants, Harpie's Pet Phantasmal. Direct attack from this fearsome beast. Your Harpie cards can be targeted for card effects or for battle. And it loses material at the end phase of your turn, but that's perfectly fine because guess what? This thing is gonna be at least sticking it out for at least 2 more turns. So yeah, why not flex to it? And then you got AA-Zeus. Another big monster you can put on top of cards. Massive removal of cards on the field. You have a lot of benefits from some of the cards that you're going to be removing anyway. And then you have a big 3K attacker. And then the other benefit to this is that you can attach material to it from your hand, deck, or extra deck. So, yeah, a lot of big benefits to this. Just some key cards I do want to point in case there are a lot of things you want to swap in. You do have both of the Tri-Brigade cards, Naval and Factar, if you do want to take advantage of those. Hysteric Party, of course, because massive summon of your Harpies, go into your Wicked Wings and stuff, and then, you know, flood the field. Harpie Lady Sisters for your Elegant Impetus additional target. And then Garuda, if you want to just take advantage of the banish. You don't have to worry so much about the banish because you have Brigade Revolt. So, that pretty much just leads it to the end of this video, you guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. And if there's anything you'd like to chime in about Tri-Brigade with Harpies, let me know in the comment section below. Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, and please hit that notification bell so you guys can be informed of when I do upload more content. Thanks everybody for watching, and HEJ signing out. Take care.